really what is fit to say. Welcome to the Republic of Fremantle. So first of all our comrades said that we should keep this sort of short and make sure it's within 5 minutes, so what's I'll do with it. But when I'm thinking about Socialist Alliance, myself, all of the comrades here, there's heaps and heaps of people here. Christy, Chris, Sam, Kamala, Monica, Sana, Katrina, heaps and heaps that all help with the Aboriginal issues in Australia. And the thing that I want to mention to you is going back to when I first became acknowledged and aware. Oh, and by the way, I'd let you know, I acknowledge that we're meeting on Nungar land to give respect to the elders past and present. And I would also like to thank the Doherty family who are here tonight. In the Aboriginal thing, I go back to John Pat. John Pat was just an average Aboriginal guy, kicked to death by 3 police officers, and they thought they could get away with it. And it was people like us in Socialist Alliance that campaigned for the Aboriginal community. And at the time, the Aboriginal community that raised the issue were about three or four people, and the old DSP, Socialist Alliance, and some of the comrades in this room campaigned for human rights. And we got a Royal Commission. And out of that Royal Commission, there was 399 recommendations about people in custody, like Aboriginal people. Not one of those recommendations has ever been implemented. So it says something about this community. Then, of course, you'll all remember moving forward a bit, Mr. Ward, rest in peace. Mr. Ward, unfortunately for the government, was an Aboriginal man who was, he knew all about the plants and fauna in his country where he lived. And he had been teaching the SAS how to survive in the bush. And afterwards, he had a ceremony for men's business. And after it was finished, all packed up, all put in the vehicles, they had a beer. He had 3 beers. 3 beers. And he drove along a road, a dirt road, and there was a road a kilometre long of bitumen where the police were waiting for him and breathalyzed him. Of course he was arrested, of course he was taken to Kalgoorlie, and in Kalgoorlie he was dead by the time he got there, because he was thrown in the back of a tin box. And the inquest into his death, his body actually melted. On the inquest in the papers, when we read them as looking at the inquest, when the police interviewed the G4S people who took his body, the words the G4S people said, when the police said to them, excuse my language, what the fuck have you done? And the G4S people said, well, he's just a bum. Derogatory name for an Aboriginal person. And it was, at that time I started to think, along with my other comrades that are in this room in Socialist Alliance, not a Seamus Doherty thing, but the rest of my comrades here, that this injustice is just intolerable. This injustice, if it was on a non-Aboriginal person, just wouldn't have happened, never mind them get away with it. It was just intolerable. So Socialist Alliance has been always at the forefront, pushing for justice for Mr. Ward. At the same time, by the way, I'll mention his name later, and the next one I'll move forward to Jalika Jude, rest in peace, God love her. A young girl, I think it's 24 to 27?
22.
22, that's right. Was arrested in Jordan for not paying parking fines. 3 days later, after going into hospital, out of hospital, the way she was treated at the police station, she died of internal injuries. I went to the coroner's inquest 3 weeks ago, and they had TV footage of the prison cell. she was thrown onto the bed. She didn't land on the bed, she fell on the floor, and the guy they just walked out and left her there. This is a woman having internal injuries. For no reason. The only reason she was there, she didn't pay a traffic fines. I'll mention one more quickly. A guy called Mr. Phillips, rest in peace, from Kalgoorlie, was an Aboriginal man who couldn't speak English, both his native tongue. But this is their land, this is Aboriginal land we're meeting on. And Mr. Phillips had only one of his arms missing, half of his arm missing. And he was set upon by a group of white people, and they kicked him to death, well, almost to death. And I've got a video, but they put it on video, and you can hear his skull crack being kicked, and they laughed at him being kicked. The young man was taken to the police cell, but the Aboriginal man was taken into police custody because they gave him a move-on notice, and because he didn't understand the move-on notice, they arrested him. And the bloke we interviewed, who was in the cell next to him, had cuts all down his arms, where he was banging the cell saying to the police, this man's having a seizure. Anyway, he died. So from treatment by the police, within 2 hours of his arrest, he was dead. So those stories I want to tell you, the reason I'm mentioning them, from Jalika Jew to John Pat, not Seamus, Socialist Alliance have always been at the forefront for social justice, humanity, as the other speakers talked about dignity and the rights of women, the rights of us as a humanity to live. Well, as we're saying, and as Christians have said, the capitalists are controlling this country. The money that's going to them is just grotesque. I've got notes here, and this year, Gina Reinhardt has made $14.9 billion. So you think about that, 14, what can it buy? And actually, I looked it up and got it in the notes here, she can buy Jamaica. You know? And also, if
This
you're
year.
on $80,000 a year, it'll take you 1,115 years to make that kind of money. So if that's not grotesque, and that's why Socialist Alliance is standing up for justice for the community.
Woo!
I've also, by the way, for comrades that are here in Fremantle, less than 10 kilometres away, there's a Beelier wetlands. It's got 2 secret sites on it. Socialist Alliance again are at the forefront of pushing. We pushed the government last year, along with the Greens and other people, but we were at the forefront. We were the ones who got the move-on notices, and we stopped the bastards.
Yeah! Woo!
And that's they're coming again. They want to make a rich man's pathway from the airport to the ports, and they're going to try and put a tunnel through Hilton. And of course we have Mary Fundraiser, who's heading up the Stop the Tunnel project. Again, Socialist Alliance will be in that.
Yeah!
Again,
Woo!
we're at the forefront of it. I think that's my 5 minutes. We're supposed to talk about unions. I just want to make one point is to have to think about, imagine if there was no unions. Imagine fatalities, and imagine industrial disease if there was no unions. Because our body, Socialist Alliance, goes about the community and the collective, and we're all about our welfare and looking after each other. Imagine if there was no unions and the capitalists were in control. It'd be terrible. So once again, everybody, thanks. And I just want to say, by the way, the next speaker after me is, well, probably, I don't know. She's a cracker. She's fighting a really good, strong fight that I support, and that's the Safe Schools thing. So thanks everybody for listening to my diatribe, and do us a favour, vote for us.